Good morning, everybody. The Mustang is here. It's actually a beautiful day. It's a bit rainy, but it's like really quiet and just a nice temperature. I don't know, it's a very nice day today. Now, I've got some very important things to share with you. I don't know if it's embarrassing or it's just good. I mean, I'm very happy, but I think that my happiness is at the expense of me. But then again, it's actually not that embarrassing. So, a lot of people have been saying, it doesn't sound like it's running right. Doesn't sound like it's running on 7 cylinders. Sounds like it's massively down on power. I have been considering that myself. I know it's not the fastest car in the world. It's only like 260 brake from standard. So obviously it's 20 years old. So it's probably like, maybe like low to mid 200. So it's not the fastest car in the world. Now, the thing is, you would think it's a heavy car, the big V8. It actually weighs the same as the 350. Now, the whole time I've been driving it, I've never really been able to put my foot down in a straight line. It's not really a straight line kind of car, you know what I mean? Oh my God, it's raining properly now. But I have been thinking the whole time, it doesn't feel as quick as it should be. I've not even put my foot down in it because obviously the last experience I've had on the drift day, and it felt slow, it felt unbelievably slow. But I thought it was due to that intake air temperature sensor, which we have fixed, and the car does run a little bit better, but it's still not that fast. So I was going to chuck on KWJ's dyno, and then I ran into this. Now, the car has always had a horrendous throttle pedal. It's always been really slack and sloppy, and it's never really felt great. And then I started thinking about something. I went inside the car, fuck's sake, rain. I went inside the car and I lifted the throttle pedal up, and it was already half the way down. So look at this, people. This is where it sits at the minute, and that's all you have, right? You've got to hold it all the way down there to even get full throttle where it's after the carpet, and this is why. Because it shouldn't sit there, it should sit here, but the cable's slacked off. So you've got all this before you even touching the actual cable. So when you hit this carpet, you're at half throttle. To get full, you've got to go past the carpet, which obviously doesn't feel natural. So I'm not that stupid. And then even then, that's not a wide open throttle, because I'm still missing off this much slack. So we need to fix that. Now, what's happened there from that Instagram story, just, but if you're not following Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. The throttle is already pressed half the way down, and there is absolutely no engagement of the cable. Now, what I've also learned is that when I pushed the throttle all the way to the floor, it wasn't engaging the cable. I think you can see where I'm going with this. So one night, I was driving on the motorway and I literally pushed it as far down as I could go, and it went past the carpet on the floor, and the car felt a lot faster. And then I also realised, even then, it wasn't pushing the full cable. So I went in the car, I looked underneath, and there was around 2 inches of cable at the end, meaning when I was pushing full throttle, it was nowhere near wide open throttle. In fact, I'm going to go inside now and measure how much movement we actually have on the cable now. I fixed it, show you how I fixed it, and actually work out how much throttle I was applying beforehand. Okay, so ignore my very Christmassy socks. So there is the accelerator. This is top. I fixed it. You can't pull it up anymore. It's all the way at the top, right? That's no throttle, all throttle. So let's say that's about 3 inches of movement, right? I would say that's about 3 inches. All the guys out there back me up. That's about 3 inches of movement, okay? I can't remember if I actually took a video or a picture of how much slack there was in the cable. There's at least 1.5 inches of cable slack there. I mean, this isn't the scientific workout, but I reckon I was only ever up to this point applying maybe 50 to 75% throttle. I actually found this quite entertaining, so I put a story up and I just said, hey guys, turns out, you know, when you actually put your throttle all the way down, it actually goes faster. And one of my Mustang internet friends, Ant Driscoll, who's got supercharged one of these, was like, yes, have you not heard of this problem? This is a very, very common problem on these. People have to fix these, and they make spacers. So how I fixed this was, I actually went to a meetings today. I'm the kind of guy, like, I can't wait to get home. I've got to do it now and then. So I went round and I asked everyone, I said, has anybody got some fuel line? I know fuel line is some thick shit. And there was a guy there called Paul. And Paul has an M4, and he had some fuel line in his boot. Now what I did was, I cut a fuel line, which is here. I cut a slit in the fuel line, which is there. I wrapped it over the slack cable and cable tied it down. Now this was too small. That shows you how much play I had. This one was too small. I had to do one maybe about 50% bigger. So it's probably about an inch and a half, 2 inches with a slack cable. So I'm going to show you what that is and how I've done it. Right, so there is the fuel line. Can you see it? There it is. It's a bit of fuel line, and that's how much slack I had. The cable is stretched that far. I'm not sure what's going on, but the cable stretched that far and you can't really get the cable. So this is what people do. They use fuel line, or they use a TV bracket spacer, which is like a nylon spacer, and then you put it between the throttle cable or the throttle pedal and the end of the cable. That's how much play I had. That is half of the whole cable or the whole throttle play that just wasn't even touching anything. So I was only ever applying 50% throttle. So now, obviously, which is unbelievable, when we come down, we press the throttle, the cable moves, and I can actually go wide open throttle. It has made the biggest difference. I can't even believe how much difference it's made. Like, I will take you for a spin later on the GoPro, and I'll show you how much it is. Honestly a different car. It is so much faster. It actually doesn't feel like anything's wrong anymore. So I'm so glad we found that out for the drift day. Honestly, like when I've been mid-skid, I've been like full throttle. I'm like, why is it went straight out? I've done like 2 skids, like second gear skids, and it's just pushes me so far. It feels like a V8 should, and I'm so happy it was just something so stupid and something so little. So yeah, that's the first part of the video. We're doing some more things today. Obviously, we fixed that. I'll start it up and then we'll take you for a drive in a little bit. But we've got a drift day on Saturday. We've got a big boy day on Saturday. So perfectly as well, we've got the hydro fully working. If you watched the last drift day video, you would have seen that the hydro was just not working in the car. And it wasn't really. I did say in the drift day, we just not had time to bleed it as much as I should, and that was true. And it weren't really working, but this is a big boy day on Saturday, so I'm going to need the hydro to be working. So let me get this out of the way and show you what we've done. So as you see, the hydro is absolutely solid now, really good. Now what I did do, I did bleed it all. I put some more brake fluid through, and the hydro worked really good. And it's the first time I've ever had it working in this car where it locked up. It locked up really well. We had an issue where if we touched the brake pedal, it would go loose in the hydro. It'd come all the way down. It would touch the brake pedal and it'd come all the way down here. So last night I spent maybe an hour doing different bleeding techniques. And just pushing tons of fluid through, and it's great. It's working unbelievable now, as you can see. So we've got hydro, and then we press the brake as many times, we've still got a hydro. Honestly, it will come all the way down here. So there was multiple different techniques that I found. The technique which worked for me was to crack the nipple open off the brakes, get the person here, pump the brake 3 times, hold the hydro, I let the air bleed for maybe a couple seconds, close the nipple, let go of the hydro, let go of the brakes, and did that 3 times to each side, just rotating left, right, left, right. Got to the point where there was no air coming through, and now the hydro feels good, no matter if we're messing around with the brakes or not. Now, so the car is, the car is already in a much better position for the drift on Saturday. I'm super excited. We've got power now, we've got throttle. We've got the hydro working, which was, honestly, it's going to be an absolute different league compared to when we went on the last drift day, and we need to because it's a big boy day, so we're doing the full track. There's another thing I want to do as well, is if you remember the last episode and the last few videos when we did the axle on the rear, we welded it all, we realised that some of the bushes were absolutely ruined. For some reason, at some point, somebody has welded the rear bushes. I'm not sure how they did that, because how do you weld something which is meant to be rubber? I have heard that some ages on this come with metal bushings, but I don't really know. I'm not really a big Mustang guy. But anyway, we've actually ordered some polybush arms. So we've got some polybush arms inside, which I got off of eBay. They were like 70 quid for like the 4 arms. Weird, because the 2 arms that I've got, the upper one, they've been changed, but the lower ones haven't, and it almost looks like the same kit. So I hope we don't run into any issues fitting these. But I've actually got a message from Quinn, who's got a Mustang. He said they're cheap, but he's had them on his like 3 or 4 years, and they've done really good for him. So I ordered a pair that were cheap enough, and they're going to be miles better than the welded ones in the back of there.